Welcome to r/writing prompts with the Rosy Pear. Today our story comes from Shitposter SL, whose writing prompt is, "No, no, no," says the thundering voice from the sky. This is supposed to be a high fantasy story. Why are you building spaceships? Could you imagine how much easier Lord of the Rings would have been if they had a spaceship? That'd have been awesome and terrifying at the same time. Anyway, guys, our first story comes from Name Not Shown. That is literally their name. They didn't just not choose a name or anything. But let's get my rambling out of the way, get our popcorn and soda started, because this is a long one. "No, no, no," comes a thundering voice from the sky. "This is supposed to be a high fantasy story. Why are you building spaceships?" The voice is deafening, and the crew of elves can't help but pause their work and stare up at the sky. They don't appear to be surprised, instead wearing expressions of mild curiosity. In contrast, the thundering voice is heavy with frustration, angst echoing amongst the lively hills of grass and fungus. The tallest among the elves, bedecked in golden finery, steps away from the frame of the sleek, futuristic craft and dresses the sky. "First time writing a story," the elf smiles. "This kind of thing tends to happen." There's a sudden stillness. The clouds stop moving, and the entire world seems to take a breath. "What? No, I've written loads of stories." "Ah," replies the elf. She looks amused. "Truly written, I mean. Gotten to the point where you feel the characters." Another pause. Above the elves in their spaceship, above the sky that thundered with an unseen voice, above the stars, and, most importantly, above the page, an author stares incredulously at dialogue they didn't write. Not consciously, at least. The author moves to scribble out the offending passage, perhaps frightened at the thought of eliciting sentience from a page, but hesitates at the last moment. A hovering pen tip to save a world. Then a response. "I haven't, I guess," the author says aloud. Then their pen returns to paper and a response begins to form. "Then allow me to explain," says the elf. She walks in text to the side of the ship, born of the remnants of an asteroid that had fallen to the elves at the beginning of the story's second act. The elf waves an arm at it. "You did this," she says. "You gave us everything we needed to create a ship. The seed was there within your mind, perhaps unwittingly, and you led us to it, and for that, we thank you." "This isn't what I planned." "No, it wasn't. But when you spend enough time with a character, a world, it starts to come alive." "Indeed. You've noticed?" The author, fully cognizant that they're scribbling a note to themselves, swallows hard. There's a certain unreality to it. But they reply nonetheless, verbalizing to a sheet of paper. "I have. I didn't even mean for you to be here this late into the story, but here I am," the elf shrugs. "It's a hazard of the work. This isn't entirely your story anymore, I'm afraid. Will you accept that?" The author considers. They could tear out the last several pages and retake control of their tale. It would be so easy. These elves were never meant to see the stars, and yet there's something intoxicating about their sudden loss of control. And elves in space isn't a half-bad idea. The author nods. "I accept. Let's build a spaceship." And now a little excerpt from another repeat writer, Sir Peacemaker. Same story, but with a little bit of a twist. Let's find out. "No, no, no," says the thundering voice from the sky. "This is supposed to be a high fantasy story. Why are you building spaceships?" The hell was that? Elias said and dropped his wrench. A petite elf wearing goggles leaned from behind a nearby corner, a wide smile spread across her grease-covered face. All right, you're new, ain't ya? That's good. She laughed. God. Like God. Capital G, Elias said nervously. Ellie, pleasure, she chirped and gave him a quick, playful salute. Yes, good, all right. He ain't jazzed we're building this there ship. We figured he was making a story, a little fairy tale-like little something for them kiddos, but, well, can't stop progress, right? But don't we have free will? Elias furrowed his eyebrows. And that's the problem, Ellie smiled. For him, at least. He bent over and picked up his wrench, inspecting it. The runes inscribed upon it made it far lighter than anything else, and its speed was increased by tenfold by the magic imbued within it. Surely God wouldn't want them to use magic in such a way, right? Won't he, smite us? He said worriedly. Nah, he ain't that kind of God. He might groan and moan, but he'll leave us be. Ain't you seen the picture about the head engineer's chat with God? No. Oh, you're really new. Come along, she said and walked off with a light step. Moments later, they found themselves in the rec room by a small TV showing a brief promotional video from the first time God spoke to Magico Industries about their insolent combination of magic and technology. The movie showed Mr. Merikatz on a tall mountain facing a colossal glowing visage in the clouds. What do you have to say for yourself, mortal? God boomed. Mr. Merikatz cleared his throat and looked down at a small paper in his hands. LOL, he said. LMAO. Thank you so much for listening, liking, commenting, and subscribing, and sharing the video around so that we can get to 100 subscribers by the end of the year. Thank you so much to Sir Peacemaker and Name Not Shown for allowing me to read their stories. And we're just going to skip my usual outro of saying thank you so much, guys. And we're just going to go on to the part where I show you how much I am not good at reading. Thanks so much, guys, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye! The hell is that? Elias said and dropped his wrench. A petite elf, wearing welding goggles, leaned from behind. Oh, you're really new. Come along, she said and walked off with a light step. Moments later, they found themselves in the rec room by a small TV show